Hello, welcome to week 9. This week you are going to be taking the midterm, and I just wanted to take a few minutes and touch base with you and kind of go over 3 important things. I wanted to go over the midterm logistics and kind of what the test is going to consist of, how many attempts you'll have, and how long you'll have to take it. Second, I wanted to go over some study tips, so some things that help me study that may be helpful for you. And then third, we're going to go over the study guide content pretty quickly together, just so we can kind of review everything we've gone over in the last 8 weeks. So let's go ahead and get started with the test logistics. So the test consists of 25 questions, and they are worth 4 points each, totaling 100 points. So essentially the midterm is worth 100 points of your final grade, so about 1/10 of your grade. And you have 25 questions to make up that 100 points. So each question would deduct 4 points if you missed it. Basically, you're going to have 2 attempts to take the test, and you'll get to keep the highest score. You're going to have an unlimited amount of time to take the test. But please make sure to complete it within one sitting because you don't want to time out on the test. Otherwise, that's going to essentially take away one of your attempts. So you do have 2 attempts and unlimited time, but make sure that once you sit down to take the test, you don't leave the computer or the phone for too long. Otherwise, you may time out and essentially lose that second attempt or the first attempt or whichever one it is. Let's see what else. I'm going to provide you with a study guide. So you should have seen that in the last page of the last page of the module. And the study guide basically provides you with some words and terms that we've gone over this semester. And the best way to study that midterm would be to fill it out and, write in little keywords and phrases about each term on the actual study guide, so that you can use it during the exam. And you're welcome to use the book, the study guide, the modules for your midterm exam. But please make sure to look through that study guide because that's going to highlight what is going to be on the test. So some things that help me take an exam, definitely not waiting until the last minute. You may want to take this exam a couple days ahead of Sunday, just so you can kind of get a feel for where you're at, and should you need to retake the test, you can go ahead and do that at a later time. I don't want you to wait till 11 p.m. on Sunday night and kind of rush through the test and miss a bunch of questions and not have the opportunity to retake it. So please don't wait till the last minute. Make sure that you have some water next to you. A lot of people like to chew gum or eat while they're taking an exam because it kind of promotes brain function. So that's an opportunity that you can take if you want to do well on the test. Let's see what else. Just going through the content in the modules, making sure to look at the different terms on the study guide. All of that is really going to help you with your exam. So let's go ahead and go over some of the study guide content. And I'm going to start at the top here. So we talked about audience analysis and audience demographics and psychographics. When it comes to audience analysis, make sure that you know the definitions for audience demographics and audience psychographics, as well as some examples about what they are, because on the exam, both terms are going to come up. So it's important that you are able to distinguish between the two and kind of explain the differences and maybe the similarities too. So you're going to need to know the different components of an introduction. We talked about organization and outlining at some point during this semester. So you're going to talk about why an introduction is important, what an introduction is. You're going to want to know what a preview of main points is, as well as an example of what that would look like in a speech. You're going to want to know what an attention getter is, as well as a few examples. You want to make sure to know the definition of thesis, and you'll need to know what a transition is, as well as a few examples, because there are going to be definition and example questions on the exam. When it comes to the transactional model of public speaking, that's what we talked about at the very beginning of the course in week 1. So definitely take the opportunity to look back at the week 1 module and make sure you can define what a speaker is, what a receiver is, what a message is, what decoding and encoding are, as well as what different channels of communication are, because all of these will be on the exam. You'll also want to be able to define and explain what the transactional model of public speaking is. So recently when we talked about listening, we talked about denotative and connotative meanings. Remember, denotative meanings are like dictionary definitions, so what a word means by dictionary. And then connotative meanings are kind of what society uses that word for. So we use the example of snake. The denotative meaning of a snake is something along the lines of a reptile with no limbs that slithers. And then the connotative meaning for snake, it's not a dictionary meaning, but society can think of snake as someone who's deceiving or untrustworthy, kind of goes behind people's backs and whatnot. So when it comes to culture, definitely know the definition of culture and how the book defines it, as well as co-culture. So you'll want to know the differences between culture and co-culture, and you'll want to be able to define and explain both. Another part of the exam will be about active listening. So you'll need to know who needs to be an active listener during a speech. Is that a speaker, an audience, both? Who needs to be an active listener during a speech? So you'll want to talk about the goals of an informative speech, and we talked about that when we discussed chapter 11, I believe it was, informative speeches. So you'll want to be able to know what the goals are, and that is in that module, as well as in your book. So we discussed types of supporting materials. You'll specifically want to pay attention to narratives and statistics. Make sure you can define and explain both, and then you'll want to be able to provide an example for both as well. We discussed external noise and internal noise when we talked about listening. I believe it was chapter 7. Remember, external noise is something that can be heard externally. Right now I'm hearing some external noise. My cat is going through a gift bag. Another example of external noise could be an airplane flying over, something that's really loud, someone clicking a pen. That's external noise. Those are things that can be heard on the outside. So actual noise waves that you can hear. Internal noise is noise that may be going on inside someone's head. So if you're thinking about how hungry you are, how upset you are about a certain situation, how bored you are during a speech, those are all examples of internal noise. So no one else can hear that noise except for you, but that noise can be very distracting. So it's that voice inside your head. That's what internal noise is. Definitely know the components of a conclusion, so you'll want to remember and be able to define what a review of main points are, what a thesis is, and then what a clincher is. And you'll want to be able to provide examples for all three as well. And then the final term that you'll need to know for the exam is eye contact. So make sure to know what eye contact is, and you should be able to do well on the exam if you know all of this content. So good luck, everyone. Please contact me if you need any assistance or if you have questions, and I'm here for you. And good luck on the midterm. Thanks. Bye.